name is Patrick Kilhenny. I'm the host tonight, one of the hosts. We'll be talking about life purpose and about the psychic gifts. This is about your avocation and your profession. And what we have here is advocate. You've probably heard these terms before, and using that psychic sensitivity, what I've enjoyed about it is really getting a sense of what is my avocation and what is my profession. So first of all, as far as what they are, avocation is work I do, to pay the bills, and it's to have some fun and do different enjoyments in life and so on. Very often I have certain talents. Like in my case, I was pretty good mechanically, and I became an engineer. It was no problem for me. It was pretty easy. I did well in that and science, and I was pretty good. But I realized after a while it wasn't really fulfilling for me. After I did it for a little bit, it was good. I was growing for a while, but before long, it was like, oh yeah, it was not really my profession. It wasn't what I really enjoyed in terms of my life thing, So that is what the profession is, when you feel the fulfillment and you just really get into it and you enjoy it and you really want to get up in the morning, get out there and do these things. And lots of times I get inspired, early in the morning, like sometimes 2 o'clock, bingo, I get woken up, my sensitivity's cranking, I get all these things coming to me and start writing things down on what to do and doing webinars and doing all kinds of different programs that we do. And so it's really wonderful to just be in things that, when I really enjoy what I'm doing, the energy's there and everything. So. And very often we go through different avocations. I've gone through a number of them, where I've had to kind of do this and do that, and each one of them sort of helped me in different ways, different avocations and different types of jobs and experiences, and it's really led up to where I am now, as far as being able to do what I'm doing now, my profession, where I do this on a regular basis, and I enjoy what I'm doing, but it takes a little while. It's taken time to unfold. I had to develop my sensitivity was the first thing, my psychic sensitivity to really have a good sense of what was going on there and so on. So, Esther, you want to be more on that?
Oh, I was just that I know normally people talk about avocation as if that's their hobby and their vocation is what, their main job. But for us, it's the thing that you came to share with people and the spiritual growth and so on that you came to experience that's your true profession. And the work to pay the bills, like Patrick's saying, is just, it's really more like an avocation because it isn't really where my fulfillment comes from. And then, of course, when they both are combined to I'm paying the bills, doing the things that really give me the fulfillment, that's the best of both worlds. And that's one of the things my sensitivity has led me to as well, so that the thing I do on a day-to-day basis really is fulfilling for me in other ways as well.
7 keys that will help you really get more into your doing what you're here to do. And first thing, sincerity, and for me, it's just getting to the point of just being sincere and really being honest with myself, starting there in terms of what I'm really about, what I want to do, and what I really feel I want to do in my life. And I had a lot of concepts, especially after school, college, you had a lot of things, and a lot of it didn't really fit me, or even my early years, I learned things that weren't really me. It was just something that I had learned from my, especially my early 7 years, that some things that I was taught, and, some fit, some didn't, but anyway, I had to really just be sincere. Okay, does that really work for me in terms of those beliefs or those things? Does it fit my life? Does it feel right for me, And number 2 is being relaxed and spiritually cleansed. And that's a key thing to really stay tuned into the real you and your clear psychic communication. It's that radio we mentioned about. If you can stay more tuned in and relaxed, and even when you're in a storm, you can stay more clear inside, more relaxed inside. And then your radio is going to be on a clear channel, even if there's all the static and all the things outside and so on. You're going to pick up a clear signal as long as you can stay tuned in inside. So we do those cleansing techniques right away when we get into the either the online practice sessions or we go into the community groups. That's the first techniques we really get into in step 2 there in different cities. So. Third thing is being loyal to yourself. The old Shakespeare saying about to thy own self be true, and as the night follows the day, thou canst not be
falls
true
to another man.
And that's a key thing. You really, for me, I used to, at one point in my life, I realized I had a business and everything, but I had to really be sincere and realize that I was doing so many things for a lot of people, but I wasn't really doing for me. And I was looked at the situation in terms of all the money and all the things I was doing and paying these people and doing this and so on, but I wasn't really getting out of it what I felt I'm thinking of one particular business. I had different businesses, but one business where it turned out that I had a lot of time I was investing and a lot of funds, but I wasn't really getting enough for it. So and I wasn't really learning from it. The bottom line was, in terms of being loyal to me, when I understood about the real me, I wasn't really growing and learning in that opportunity. So then I knew that it wasn't really for me because I wasn't really getting something out of it in the bigger picture and the real me in terms of learning. Even though it was more of an avocation, I was just getting money from it and so on, which is okay. You got to pay the bills, but then I get to a point where people can have both. They can have the income and things can be fine there, and then people are to the point where can just do the things that really feel like what is my life direction and things I want to do. That was 3. And 4 is opening up your clear inner communication. That's an important thing, and we have these techniques to develop the 4 spiritual psychic gifts of communication, which we'll talk about. And then 5 is being patiently impatient and knowing when it's time to chill out. For me, I'm a go-getter. I was born in New York, and I'm an intuitive first. As we talk about the gifts, you'll see that, but intuitives tend to be kind of just go do it, and so for me, sometimes I just go and do it, but if I'm not, again, I mentioned about my thrust and cleanse, and if I'm not clear, sometimes I'll go, especially if I'm in New York or in the big city or something around people that are that way, I'll start going for it when I really don't need to be going for it at that point, and I've learned, intuitive especially, they can be like a bull in a china closet if they're not cleansed and clear. So I've learned the key here is using that sensitivity to know when I need to be patient and just sort of take time out and regroup like we're talking about and use my sensitivity and sense what's really going on so I can do what's going to work better rather than sort of running in there and just jumping on the first thing. I got to take time to really follow it and so knowing when to act and when to kind of take a break from things. 6 is not judging, which is a big one, and starts with ourselves. It starts with myself. I had to learn a lot about not judging myself, those experiences, and there's no mistakes. There's only stepping stones. And I did the best I can. You hear that a lot, and that's true. You're at the point now. You're ready to really move on and do more than ever. And but the key is not getting hung up on all those things from before and saying, yeah, I made mistakes, but anyway, here I am, and I'm doing the best I can now, and so on, and then not getting caught up in any of those things. And the last thing is the regrouping regularly we mentioned, and we'll do that at the end of this. And when I take time out, again, I regroup every day. Regroup every week, usually by the weekend on Sunday. I take time and I just regroup my week, and we'll go through the main regrouping questions that you can use for yourself after this. So you can use some of these techniques, this regrouping technique, try that every day, and you can really start get value out of this whole thing if you take it and use it. That's the bottom line. So it's a couple of the community programs. They're happening in cities, and again, just communicate, and these involve the step 1, 2, and 3. You'll see them if you have a meetup there. You'll talk more about those 3 steps in the big picture presentation I mentioned in the beginning, and definitely hear the whole thing. And then the workshop is step 2. You start doing cleansing techniques and discerning your energy, and step 3 is the practice sessions, which go on for a number of weeks. They're 2 hours, and they're very reasonable. This is all a nonprofit program, so it's very reasonable and something you can do, and consultations, I mentioned the next item there. And courses, there's in-depth courses you can do for a day on all different topics, and in fact, this program, they have hundreds of courses that go into specific areas like dreams and trance healing and working with your business from that inner point of view and relationships, and really understanding, why, what the connection I have with people in terms of those inner relationships and spiritual contracts and so on. And there's materials, books, and we'll give you a website at the end here. You can look at that. And then there's camps and conferences going on, both locally in regions of the country and different places, different countries, and happening nationally, internationally. We have in the summertime, we have one big one in Iowa in the U.S., and that is happening. And people come from a summer, and have all kinds of programs. And if you like to do this online, we have an online program where you can meet regularly. We have once-a-month calls where you practice. It's not like this where you actually, this is more of a lecture where we're going through and giving you a picture of all this. But the online thing, you'll do techniques, and it's interactive to quite a degree where everyone's online together. It's not like this where you have presenters doing most of it. And you have those regular online calls, either on the phone or on the computer, and do the techniques, and then you work with your lessons, and you regroup certain areas of your life about your strengths and weaknesses and your purpose. You go more into the gifts and all these areas that relate to this, so you really get clear on your concepts, and then you practice the techniques when you get together on those monthly calls. So either way, if you do it online or in the community type of in-person programs, you have it. It's great to have a mastermind group of people that are like-minded souls that you can get together with. So these are the 4 key things. And if you want to get the most out of situations, we do it regularly. I do it where I'm in projects, like I say, a lot of times in the evening before I go to sleep, I regroup the day, and these are the 4 key questions that will really help you keep your energy clear and tune into what's really going on in that big picture we talked about, but really looking at what it is I did and what you learned from it. And third thing was what you enjoyed most about it. And then is there anything you'd do different? So those are the 4 key regrouping questions that, again, these techniques are great to use, and all these are practical techniques that you just use all the time. So we have different people that actually travel around and do this. It's a great program where people really help each other out, and it's great to share with people and learn and find people that are into this all over the world.